Ooh, you miss me? I know. Hi everyone, it's April Leon here. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time seeing this channel, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell icon, and you'll be the first to get notified when I release a new video. In today's video, I'm going to show us how I made this beautiful sleeveless bustier and also a cone flay. So if this is what you're interested in, keep watching. Make sure you watch to the end, share this video and like. Thank you. All right, so I've gone ahead to fold my fabric in triangle form like a bias. Okay, so I'm going ahead to do the calculation for my waist circumference and also the length of the down pattern. Also, I'll be cutting this into 4. Okay, so what I did here was to get my waist measurement. I divided my waist measurement by 4, and then I went ahead to divide that measurement by 2. Okay, so that is a total of 6. All right, so once I was done with that, I got 4.725. Also, my length is 63. I subtracted the upper bodice, which is 17, from it. Okay, so to get the length of my dress, so I got 43. And so I'm now marking the circumference of the waist. Just take your tape and look for, just look for where 4.75 is, and then you put the tape at the top there and mark it. If you don't understand, you can go watch my previous video on how I made the flay I made in the former video. That was more explained. The link will also be in the description. So I'm going ahead to also take the length of the flay dress. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and mark those lines and then cut the flay. Once I'm done cutting it, I'm going to go ahead and cut 4 of this, because I'm going to making the flay like a cone pattern, so it looks very full. Even though it's a 720 degrees flay, it will look very full like a cone. So if you want to make a cone flay dress, this is how you cut it. All right, so once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and then cut it off. I'm going to go over now to the upper bodice. So I'm going to go ahead and rule a straight line, the starting point. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and mark my horizontal measurements. So I'm going to start off marking my bust point, which is 11 inches. I'm going to go ahead and mark my under bust, which is 14.5 inches, and then my half length, which is 17.5 inches. I'm going to go ahead and rule a straight line across those marked points. I'm also going to go ahead and mark the same point at the other side, so I can get a proper straight line. Okay, once I'm done doing that, I'm going to go ahead and connect those lines forward. Okay, so once I'm done doing that, I'm going to go ahead, I'll measure my shoulder measurement divided by 2, and I'm going to mark it at that point. I'm going to go ahead and come in by 1 inch for my shoulder slant, and then I'm going to mark my armhole length, which is 9.5. I'm also going to go ahead and mark the shoulder line to get a straight line at that point. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and mark my neck, which is 3 inches width and also a 4 inches depth. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I'm going to connect that curve, the neckline curve, and I'm going to draw the shoulder slants to connect it to the neckline. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I'm just going to go ahead. I reduced the neck a little bit because it was too wide. I'm going to go ahead and take my nipple to nipple, which is 4.5 inches. I'm going to mark it at the bust point, at the under bust, and then at the half length. Okay, once I'm done doing that, I'm going to go ahead and take 1.5 inches outside of the bustier to make the bustier dart. Then I'm going to rule a straight line from my half length to my under bust, connecting it, and then I'm going to connect a curve to form my bustier. Okay, just watch what I'm doing and you will get it. All right, so once I'm done with that, I'm going to take 3 inches of my shoulders, and then I'm going to connect it at that point. From my neckline, I'm going to take 3 inches to out of the shoulder, and I'm going to mark the line straight, connecting it to my bustier. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and I went ahead to extend my armhole line so that I could get my bustier curve very well. So I took it 1/2 inch from the 4.5 that I already had, and then I connected it at that armhole line. Okay, that was what I did. I connected it at that armhole line. So once I was done with that, I went ahead to divide my bust measurements divided by 4, and then I marked it at that point. I also took out the dart allowance 1 inch, and then I marked the sewing allowance, which is 2 inch. I went ahead to also measure my underbust measurement divided by 4. I marked it at that point and went ahead to also take out the dart, which is 1.5 inch we had earlier used. I place it back there, and then 2 inches for my sewing allowance. I did the same thing for my waist measurement divided by 4. At the same time, I marked it at that point, and I went ahead to take the dart measurement, which is 1.5, and then I placed it there, and the 2 inches for sewing allowance, and I connected a line to it. So I went ahead to also mark my armhole curve, even though we'll not be using the armhole curve. So when I finished sewing this, I realized that the bustier, the part where I cut out, was a little bit too revealing. So if you want yours to be higher, you can take the points where I'm marking now. I did 9 inches, but you can mark yours as 7 inches or 7.5. That will make it, that is your over bust, make it a little bit higher. This was really low, so it was a little bit revealing. The bust was revealing. Okay, so make that correction when you're making your pattern. Okay, so that was the whole pattern. I'll go ahead now and cut the bustier, the front pattern. Once I'm done cutting the front pattern, I'm going to go ahead and lay it for us to cut the back pattern. Okay, so I'm keeping my 1.5 inches zipper allowance. Okay, so I'll use my front pattern to draw the zipper allowance line. Once I'm done doing that, I'll go ahead and cut out the back pattern using the front pattern. So I've gone ahead to mark the neck depth for the back, which is 1 inches, and I cut it out. Once I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and cut out both the front and the back pattern. Don't forget to make yours higher. 7.5 inch will be better to prevent your bust from revealing too much. So once I was done doing that, I went ahead to also take out 1/2 inch from the zipper. This is to prevent bulging at the back. Okay, I took in 1/2 inch and then connected it to the zipper line at the back there. I'm going to mark also the dart I have at the front. I'm going to transfer it to the back pattern. Okay, I'm also going to transfer the dart at the upper part to the back pattern. Once I'm done that, I'll take out the front pattern and I'm going to connect the dart line I marked out, that I traced out at the back. Okay, just watch what I'm doing. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. So this is my back pattern. Don't forget to like this video and also share the video with your soulmate, okay, so that YouTube knows that we are creating something very important here. If you're new here, also make sure you subscribe. Don't go without subscribing. I'm also going to go ahead and mark out the zip allowance, take out the excess, and I'm going to cut that off. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to open the zipper Okay, and then I'm going to notch the zipper allowance. Once I'm done with it, I'm going to go ahead and also cut the front pattern, cutting the neck, and then I'm going to cut the dart pattern. So once I'm done cutting, this is all for the cutting pattern. I'm going to be uploading the sewing pattern, so make sure you subscribe, so you're going to see how I sew the bustier and how I also joined the cone flare and how everything came out. This is the finished look of it. Thank you for always watching. Bye.